Hi everyone, Lou here. Inside our Queensland Landlords Facebook group, there was a post earlier from a first-time investor querying water charges. So I did do a quick reply, but I had to follow through with a more thorough explanation. That's why we're doing this video for first-time investors, because there were some comments floating around that was confusing our new investor. So let me clarify this properly under the Queensland legislation. This is general information based on the Residential Tenancies and Roomings Accommodations Act 2008 Queensland and the recent amendments bill that came through in 2024 as well. Okay, so initially there were three core elements that allowed a landlord to pass on their water usage. Firstly, the property had to be separately metered. Secondly, the lease had to state that the tenant is responsible for water usage and that the property had to be water compliant. Okay, so they had to meet water efficiency standards under the Act. Now, if any one of these three elements are missing, then you as a landlord is not allowed to charge water to your tenants. So back in January of 2010, any properties that were built before this particular date had to get a licensed plumber to provide a water efficiency certificate. That generally means that the plumber had to rectify any of the compliant flow rates in the shower heads and all the taps, and that all the toilets had to be dual flush. This is where you needed the certification from a licensed plumber. Properties built after January of 2010, the compliance is typically achieved through construction. However, as a landlord, you have to ensure that the plumbings and the fixtures remain compliant. There is no legislative requirement for you to annually recertify your property, but in practice, reassessment is only needed if you feel that the compliance has been compromised. For example, you've had plumbing works, or you think that the tenant has altered and added stuff to your property or removed items from your plumbing, and any maintenance issues. Come September 2024, there was a legislation update. Now, you only have 4 weeks to issue your bill to your tenants. You must provide your tenant with a copy of the bill within 4 weeks of receiving it. So this is receiving it, not from the water reading period, but from the issue date. But if you do fail to give it to your tenants within that 4 weeks, then you lose your right to charge water for that period. Now, how long does your tenant have to pay? They've got 30 days. All invoices to tenants, they have 30 days to pay. And if they don't pay within these 30 days, it becomes a breach of their agreement. So you follow the normal breach process. However, with water disputes, you need to go through the RTA for a conciliation process. You can't go straight to QCAT because this is a non-urgent matter. You have to have your conciliation process completed before you can take it to QCAT. There is a limitation to the window that you are allowed to chase any outstanding debts, and that is 6 months. So if you are chasing water bills, don't wait outside the 6 months before you start chasing it. You cannot chase old invoices outside the 6-month limitation period. That is critical. I'm going to teach you how to prorata charges, because if a tenant moves in and out during a billing period, which often happens, then you have to take a date stamped photo of the meter. You need to make sure that the meter ID number is visible, and you will calculate the usage based on the rate shown in the most relevant and most recent water bill you receive. Record keeping is everything here. You cannot guess the usage. You must have evidence to back it up. I'm going to cover what you can't charge your tenants for, and these, if you see it on your bill, will have water access charges and sewage charges. Anything with these two words, you're not allowed to charge your tenant, because under the Act, the landlord must provide you with a premises that is fit to live in. And so this is part of their base obligation. Some people ask why in Queensland the bills are received by the owner and not issued directly to the tenant. In Queensland, water infrastructure is actually tied to land ownership, and that is simply how the system operates up here. So owners will receive the bill, and usage may then be recovered from your tenants. Now, I know this video has been very long, but for those of you that do know me with my posts, long is standard. However, this is the correct position under the current legislation. And if you are a new landlord and you are feeling overwhelmed, just know that you are not alone. There are a lot of moving parts in Queensland now, and if you found this video helpful, follow for more practical property insights, legislative updates, and real-world strategies that will protect your investment. I do break down real scenarios so you can make more informed decisions with confidence. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.